Just lean back, talk slow so your mic isn't.
Hello, welcome to Freedom on Chain. Uh, this, so we're live right now. This is Freedom on Chain, and I am the crypto steward. Pardon my background right now. I want to change it later, but this is what it is. So let's start out with a prayer for the market. Everything's going up, so we're excited. I thought I'd get on earlier to show what's happening in the market. So go to, if you've never been in the market, go to tradingview.com and go to crypto. It'll show you that it's going up. You can go to anything. You can go to, if you have a Coinbase account, if you have a Kraken account, you can look at it going up. You can look at the numbers. Anyway, so let's just pray. Father, I just thank you that you're good. And Lord, I praise you for the green candles, Lord, when we need green candles. And I praise you for the red candles when we need red candles, Lord. Lord, I just thank you that you are good. And I have a scripture verse here that I want to give you today. Let's pull that up here. And, this is Matthew 6:33 and 34. But seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be provided to you. So do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. So each day, when you're into the day and maybe things are down, don't worry about it. Go to sleep. Don't worry about tomorrow, because tomorrow might be red. It might be green. You get excited. Even it's hard, isn't it? It's hard when you're excited about something to go to bed and go to sleep. Sometimes it's easier when things are down just to forget about it and go to sleep, or it could be the opposite, right? So, but don't worry about tomorrow. Let the peace of the Lord give you peace at night so you can get good sleep. Easier said than done, right? Definitely easier said than done. Tell you where the market is right now. Bitcoin is at 86,433, going up, right? I love it. Ethereum is on its way up. It's pumping 28.45 right now. Looks like just happy that things are going up. So things are looking up for the market. Things are looking up for me. Praise Jesus. God's good. If things are down for you, I'll be honest, things are still down. I mean, I need Ethereum to go up to 6,000 for me to be really up. And but just to watch the green candles go up makes me happy. So and that's the joy of the Lord. Just be happy regardless. I mean, it's not the end all be all. If you're using leverage or you've invested your mortgage, don't do that. This is not financial advice. Anything I say is just what I'm doing for just handing out my information. So what I've learned in crypto, what I've learned in investing, what I've learned through Jesus, read his word, have faith in him. He will guide you. Follow the Holy Spirit. If you don't know Jesus, get in his word, learn about him, and then follow him. Do what he says. Do what he says in his word. Receive the Holy Spirit and let the Holy Spirit guide you. He will give it to you. He's a person. He will guide you. So that's what I'm doing. Following the Holy Spirit best I can and following his word the best I can. So yeah, it's the market is pumping. So that's nice. Here it comes back down again. That's how it works, right? Just pumps up and then comes back down, and then pumps back up, comes back down. So that's what we're seeing right now. So yeah, just breathe. God is good. So let's see where we're at. Let me see if I can figure out how to share my screen. Maybe I can share my screen here and show you what's happening in the market. I really don't have no plan for today. I'm just winging it. So just going to be honest. Here we go. Probably share this. I don't see anything on my screen that I can't share. Uh, uh, Sorry about this. Oh, looks like it's not working. Let me get back on here. I wasn't able to share my screen. Maybe I'll do it another time. I could do it like this. So will it work? No, because taking the background image, it's only taking a person. Anyway, right now, Bitcoin is at 86,000. We're still at 2831. The start of the market, it's always volatile like this. It'll go up and down, up and down, up and down, and then it might take a while, but it'll figure out what it's going to do by the end of the day. And sometimes that's good. That's how you can trade. Sorry, I had something dry in my throat. Need a little spot of coffee. Sometimes you can figure out, what it's doing. Sometimes I like to scalp during this time because you can make a little bit of money, as things go up and down, just by scalping. So if you've never scalped before, if you want to learn how to trade, I definitely recommend the Whale School at Banter. It's a good school. It's free. You just sign up for an exchange and put $200 in the exchange, and you can learn how to trade. They'll teach you how to trade. It's, I'll be honest, it's very difficult to learn. It takes a lot of knowledge, a lot of understanding, and consistency. You have to be consistent. And if you're like me, I think too much. So I tend to overthink things. And when something doesn't work, I want to go back and fix it. The problem is with trading is nobody does it perfectly. Something's always the same. Even if you do the same thing over and over again, it's not always going to work, so you're not always going to make money. So sometimes you're going to lose. Sometimes you're going to win. It's winning more than losing. Isn't that how life is? That's how we go. We're always trading something for another thing. We trade our jobs. One job works great, and you keep going, and suddenly one day it doesn't work anymore. So then you trade that job, for another job you think is going to be better. And sometimes it works out better, and it goes up and up and up and up, and then boom, you hit a snag, and it goes down again. Then you try to trade again. The consistency is in having in everything is just keep doing it over and over again. What works, what you find that works, that realizing you're never going to always win. Even with that one thing that always works, you likely it's not going to work every time. But if whatever your strategy is, if you win 10 times out of 9, that's 90%, right? So that's one way to think about it, but you got to have a strategy in life, and those strategies are always changing. So you know. So it just depends on how the market's going. Um, so yeah, and we're going back up. I'll tell you, just share a little bit about my journey. Um, Several years ago in 2023, back in 2009, I heard about Bitcoin. Somebody told me about it and I disregarded it. I was deep in the Gospels, wanting to learn from the Lord and focused on that, not focused on making money. And later on in life, I realized if I want to finance my own ministry, if I want to minister the gospel more, I need to make money. I need to be able to make money and be able to support my own ministry. That's what Paul did. That's what the disciples did. That's been always been my heart, is to support my own ministry. Why do I want to put a burden onto somebody else? And that catches my heart, because uh, because I don't want to ask people for money. Life is hard, and you need money. You need money to live. You need money to prosper. You need money for your family. I want to be able to give to my family. I want to be able to give to people in need. Um, so for me to be able to give, that's why I'm the crypto steward, and this is freedom on chain, because the only way to freedom, right? Financial freedom is freedom. If you have freedom in Jesus, you can be financially free. And here we are. We're coming back down again. But it's going to go all the way back down to 2793 or so, right near the low. Maybe not even hit. Maybe not even hit. Maybe it'll just hit 2800 and then it'll go back up. Likely. Who knows? It's really choppy. Anyway, so, in my journey in the crypto space and in life, I've just sought the kingdom first, and then he's just added on to my life. And it's not been a perfect life. I can't say that being a Christian is the perfect. I mean, it's the perfect life. It's the only real life. If being a Christian, other religions, they don't point to peace. They don't point to knowing that you're saved. They don't point to having a relationship with God, with Jesus. Being a Christian, having that tangible relationship with Jesus, knowing him and knowing that he knows me more than I know myself is perfect. I mean, that, and having that perfect relationship where you can dive into him and that he knows you. He knows you more than you know yourself, and where you can seek his own wisdom. You can seek his wisdom for yourself, because that's what we all need. We need the wisdom of Jesus. And just ask for wisdom, ask for grace. Ask for grace when you need it. And when you feel like you're not getting grace, just ask him why. Maybe when we're not getting grace, we're getting wisdom. And so I know when I'm not getting grace and things are tough, things are hard. Like, Lord, where's my grace when crypto is going down? Where is my grace? And then he shows me wisdom. And then I ask for peace, and he brings me peace. And where is the peace when I don't feel peaceful, Lord? That's where I ask him. That's what I ask him a lot. Where is the peace, Lord, when I don't feel peaceful? Because having peace isn't a feeling. It's like having joy. Like joy, my joy is full. My joy is full in him. But having that joy doesn't mean I always feel joyful. What it means is I'm steadfast in knowing that his joy is there. And when it comes back to the surface, it comes back to the surface, he's going to be there, you know. So so that when things are going down, have peace because eventually they're going to go up. Sitting here watching the candles. It's hitting 2,800 Ethereum. I have a lot of Ethereum. That's what I have it. That's what I'm invested in right now. Um, and it's basically doing the same thing Bitcoin's doing. Bitcoin's coming down and it's going back up. Ethereum's coming down and it's going back up. So now it's grinding up slowly. And when it grinds up slowly, you feel you get crypto. If you watch the candles, I've watched the candles and followed my emotions. Your emotions can really ride away with you. You're just following the candles, and as it goes up, your emotions go up, and as it comes down, your emotions comes down. But when it stops, and then it's called consolidation, is what it's called. When it stops and it just goes, you see little candles. I'm looking at the 1 minute chart, so you can watch the candles go up and down, and that it gets kind of crazy when you watch the 1 minute chart because you can follow your emotions and you really learn about your own emotional state. There's a whole emotional chart. If you want to look up market emotional chart or something like that, look that up. You'll see a whole emotional chart of what they call having an emotional market. And it's all psychology. They talk about, and you're supposed to go into crypto and you're supposed to watch the candles. You're supposed to, when you trade, you're not supposed to have any emotion in it. Well, we're humans, right? We're going to be emotional, and it's going to happen. So that's what happens. Somebody sent me a question here. So let me read this question. Do you make money off of Bitcoin? How does it cash out when you get to a certain point? So how you can make money off Bitcoin? When if you've bought it, if you have it in, there's such thing as a cold storage wallet. I like Tangem wallet. If you comment when the video's done, I'll put in the links for Tangem wallet if you want cold storage. But what most people do, if you're just starting out, you get into an exchange. I also have a link for Coinbase exchange. Let me see if I can bring that up here. So Coinbase, if let's see here, let me make sure I stay on. So you can go to coinbase.com, start a Coinbase account. I'll drop this link in the chat here. And you can go to coinbase.com, or kraken.com. I think it's kraken.com. Kraken and Coinbase, for the US, they're the best exchanges. You start an account, they're safe, but make sure you're on their website, not some fake website. A lot of people create fakes. So you can start there, and then you connect your bank account. Don't worry, I have my bank account connected to Kraken. I have it connected to Coinbase. And so Kraken, Coinbase, let me see here. And then you can go on there. Once your bank's connected, I would recommend opening a second chain. This is what actually my personal checking account is connected to Coinbase. So since my personal account, I connected it to Coinbase, but I kept very little money in my personal account. I wanted to be safe. So I recommend doing that, or opening a bank account separate, and then connect that bank account, and then transfer your funds from bank account to bank account, just to be safe. So if somebody somehow got connected through, I don't think so, or you clicked on the wrong link, they can't empty your bank account. Now realize your bank is federally insured, right? So that's federally insured, but Coinbase is not. So if somebody pulls money out of your bank account without your knowledge or your permission, then that's insured. And even if you did accidentally give them permission, I believe, and you show that it was a scam, I believe that's insured. So, I don't think anybody can do that. I've never had any kind of problem. So Coinbase, Kraken is safe. Another exchange I use is Pionex.us. So those 3 exchanges are extremely safe for the US. I've got a lot of money in both those exchanges. So you can buy Bitcoin through there, and then you just buy it, and you'll see, go through. They have tutorials. I'll give a tutorial. The best thing I like about, I think, both of the Kraken and Coinbase, I recommend those first. If you're just buying and storing and holding, if you're buying and holding and not trading, Coinbase and Kraken, you can hold your money there. And if you're holding, if you don't want to buy yet and you just put it in USDT or USDC, Coinbase gives you 4% on USDC. Kraken, I think, gives you the same. Okay. Pionex, I think theirs is only like 2%. They're not that much. But right now is probably, I think we're going to go up from here. I think Bitcoin is going to go up. I think Ethereum is going to go up. So I would say if you're going to buy and hold, I'd say now is probably the time to buy. This is not financial advice. I from people that I listen to on Banter, from other groups that I listen to, and I think things are probably going to go up at least to 100,000 and then come back down again, or it's going to break through and go to all-time highs. So just to tell you, there's from what I've learned online, from the people that I follow, and the sentiment using AI. I use AI, I use Grok. I definitely recommend Grok if you're going to use AI. I won't get into Chat GPT. I don't like it. I like Grok. And that's if you have an X premium account, Grok is on there. You can use it all the time. Definitely recommend that. But from everything that I've learned, there's like half and half. People are so divided on what's going to happen. What does that mean? Nobody really knows. So there's a left translated cycle. There's a right translated cycle. People are saying that the cycle is going to last a lot longer. So no more 4-year cycle. I think that's where I'm leaning, that there's no more 4-year cycle. And I think what happened, why, is because so a lot of people that bought Bitcoin in 2009, 2010, they bought Bitcoin when it first started. They made millions. Some of them are billionaires. Some of them are trillionaires. Well, a lot of those guys, they sold right now, which smart, huh? When everybody is planning on everything going to go skyrocketing, all the billionaires sold and dumped the market. So now you're second guessing, like it's over, it's over. And that's the flush out everybody, right? That's the flush out the entire world from people thinking they have the 4-year mentality, because you will hear people online talk about the 4-year cycle. I think it's a longer cycle. I think we're going to go up from here into I think Thanksgiving. Over the next week, things might lull a little bit. I think we're going to go up a little bit and it's going to stay strong. I think the market's going to stay strong. And then, over the holidays, it's going to dump a little bit. I don't think it's going to go back to 80,000. And if you follow Bitcoin, then you're following the rest of the market, right? That's the way things are. And you follow Bitcoin and Ethereum. So that's what I'm doing. I watch Bitcoin, I watch Ethereum. I'll tell you this strategy. I watch Bitcoin, Ethereum. I watch Bitcoin dominance and Ethereum dominance. That's the best strategy. When Bitcoin dominance is up, everything else, all the other coins are going to drop. When Ethereum dominance is up, everything else is going to start following Ethereum, and usually Bitcoin is going up with it. But we'd like to see they have something out there. People are going to be shilling coins. Don't fall for it. I did. A lot of people fall for shilling coins. If you hear people talking about alt season is coming, well, that's what I've been hearing for 3 years now, and it never came. I mean, not the euphoric alt season. I mean, there have been little spouts of alt season, and I watched all my money go all the way up and come all the way back down. So if you watch your money go to all-time highs, and sell, because that's a mistake I made, is I didn't sell because I was waiting for this 10 times euphoria that never came, and it never came. Just this cycle, it just never came. There was no euphoria in the market. There hasn't been. And it's because these big whales are dumping. When they dump Bitcoin, the whole market comes down. Probably the best strategy is to buy Ethereum, Bitcoin, and Solana and just hold it, wait for it all to come down into a bear market and hold it. A lot of people saying we're in a bear market. I have a hard time believing that's the other camp. Okay. Probably going off on bunny trails. But so you have two camps. So one camp, we're in a right translated cycle. The cycle's not going to be 4 years. It's going to be 5 or 6 years now, right? That's the camp I'm leaning towards. I lean towards that way. The other camp is now we're going into a bear market. Everything's dumping. Bitcoin's down 35% from its all-time high. Ethereum's down, but Ethereum's not down that much, but it is. It's down 35% because the yearly low for Bitcoin was right below 14, or for Bitcoin was right below 74,000. Right around between 74 and 75,000. The yearly low for Ethereum was just below $1,400. So we're not even there. I don't think, and this is me talking. You're going to hear a lot of people say other things. This is only my thinking. I'm sharing my perspective. I'm not sharing, and this may be off. So I'm not a professional. I'm not a professional trader whatsoever. I'm just giving what I learned because I'm the crypto steward. So I like to give out what I learned. So from the technical standpoint, in 2025 in April, we're not even below those lows. So I don't see us. I wouldn't consider this a bear market. Other people will tell you, well, but all these other signals say we're going into a bear market, and that could be true. But we might hit all-time highs again, or we might make a higher low. So I would say we could go up to $100,000. So 110 maybe, and then come back down again. So I would say that if we go up to 110,000 and of Bitcoin, and we're in that around Christmas time, usually that's when everybody dumps because of taxes. Everybody wants to take their profits because it's tax time, and some people might wait and sell, because I've already traded a lot of my downside. So a lot of my downside is going to be right off this year. I'm probably going to wait until January to sell anything in profit. So that's what I'm doing. So yeah, so you can make money off Bitcoin just by holding it. You can make money off all the other coins too. You can make money by learning how to trade. Um, learn learn about it though. You got to learn. One thing God spoke to me about was through this process is when I first got into cryptocurrency, God really spoke to me about it. And he said, buy Bitcoin. I heard I can hear from God. We all hear from God, right? And so I was really praying into this, something about Bitcoin, because I heard about it before and God was really speaking to me, take the risk, buy Bitcoin. And the problem with us humans is we have a brain and we start thinking, okay, God told me to do this. I'm going to go do it. But then we put our own spin into it. I started learning about buying. So I started buying Bitcoin. I wanted somebody to follow. We want somebody to follow, right? A man to follow, because we're, instead of just following the voice that's speaking to us, that's we know is God, we go to try to follow man. And what happens? They do it all wrong, right? Not all the time, but a lot of the time they do it wrong, or what they're talking about isn't what God spoke to you. So that's what happened to me. So I heard buy Bitcoin. So I got to started learning about the blockchain, learning about coins, and I started listening to people speak on cryptocurrency. Well, I learned about alt season and the 4-year cycle and how all that stuff works, how the last 10 years people have, or 15 years, whatever it is, there's been a cycle, and you're in a bear market and you buy in the bear market, and when it gets to the bull market you sell at the top of the bull market, and you buy Bitcoin and you sell Bitcoin, and then you put your money from Bitcoin into Ethereum, then in Ethereum into altcoins. For some reason, I missed that part of it where you put money into where you buy Bitcoin first and then put money. Somebody I was listening to is just like, altcoin, alt season, alt season, alt season. Buy these coins. You're if you don't buy these coins and you only buy Bitcoin, these coins are going to 10x, 20x, 30x, and they're going to all skyrocket. You're going to be a millionaire. So I missed the buy Bitcoin first, hold it until this happens. I missed the strategy, and maybe the guy, I mean, I think the guy was 100% honest what he was saying, and trying to display what he's learned, but his personality was very emotional, and sometimes I can run away with those emotions. So I started running away with that, right? So I said, well, why would I put my money into Bitcoin if altcoins are going to do better? Yeah, it's a little bit more risky, but why not? Just buy them, And so I started buying all the altcoins. I bought a lot of Ethereum. I bought Solana, and then the one guy, there was one meme coin, you'll hear about meme coins, and there was one meme coin that he just shilled, and it was like, we're all going to be rich, and he would always throw that liner in there, this is not financial advice. I'm not telling you to do this. This is, but you kind of get that feeling, oh, that's the part where he's just covering his butt. So just like me, I want to cover my butt. This is not financial advice. I am not a professional trader. I am just telling you what I'm doing. This for entertainment. This for just information, things that I've done that I'm giving to you. So that was my experience, and I did that, and I lost. And so I put a lot of money into this one coin thinking it's going to go skyrocket, and I lost half my position. Well, then I didn't even understand trading at this point. I was just buying. So at this point I bought, right? I just bought and just was buying and selling, and I end up buying high and selling low, the worst thing you can do. And so when when I had a lot of money into this one coin and it cut half, I lost half my money. And I found out about TradingView. So this is part I want to share. If you're just learning about, get TradingView. Even if you're just buying and holding, get tradingview.com. It's free. It's free. You can watch the market on it. I think I have the premium because I learned how to trade, do all the indicators. So if you're trading, you're going to want that. I mean, if you're going to really learn how to trade, you're probably going to want to learn the different indicators and what it does, how it goes up and down. So I wanted to learn how to trade, and I dived into learning how to trade. And when I learned how to trade, and I learned a lot through the Sniper Club from banter.com, cryptobanter.com. If you go there, you'll see. Be careful of that. Be careful. Just be careful. Okay. Because you could get, people are, never give your keys out, never give any information out to anyone that asks you for your email address, that asks you for your wallet, that asks you for especially if you have a wallet keys or access to your exchange, because they're going to help you. Don't ever give anyone access to your exchange, access to your wallet. They are not there to help you. You only listen to them. That's it. You don't, and you listen to their YouTube videos. If you're in a Discord, you talk to them. You can talk to them. I'm in a Discord. It's called Whale Room. I can talk to people, but you never want to give them any of your information. You don't know them. You don't trust them. Don't trust anyone in this space, because there's scammers out there, and there's scammers pretending to be other people. The host of Crypto Banter, there's lots of people out there pretending to be those people, and to think that, it's like this, like celebrity, like somebody like President Donald Trump's gonna email you, right? Like you get emails from Donald Trump all the time, right? That's not him. That's somebody, and it may not even be. That's why I never give online like that. Like, it's somebody from their political group that's asking you for money. They're all asking you for money. Whatever they're doing, at the end of the thing, they ask you for money. So, it's not their personal, Donald Trump doesn't know Spencer White. I mean, that's my name, the Crypto Steward. But Donald Trump doesn't know me. They don't know me personally. So how is he going to send me a message? So now I've talked to people that are on Banter. I've talked to the guy through YouTube, through Zoom. I think we do Zoom meetings. So I talk to people through Zoom meetings, but after you talk to them, that's when they want to get you. Then you'll talk to somebody, somebody else is watching the show, because you're on the show, right? Somebody else is watching you. Email them. Somebody else is watching you. Message them through YouTube. And so then suddenly you talk to them online, and and because you talk to them through the show, then suddenly they're sending you a message, Maybe it's through the Discord, maybe it's through YouTube, maybe it's through whatever, or email even, right? And you're like, oh yeah, I just talked to him, blah, 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 blah. Then they're asking you for money. They're asking you, hey, I'm going to help you make more money. Send me your keys, send me your email, send me your wallet. Then suddenly you're drained of all your money. Or you send them $5,000 to help you build it up and you never hear back. Then you start to email the actual guy that you talked to and say, no, I would never DM you. I would only talk to you here or there, and it's never going to be a private message, right? Those guys, they never send private messages. And if they do send private messages, it's they're crooks, if you can prove that they sent you a private. So there has been a crook one time on one of the platforms I was on, and he was sending people private messages. He was working for one of the companies, one of the, I don't want to say who, but because it's old news, that guy's been fired from this other company. So I don't want to say anything because the company, has high standards. So this guy was working for the company and he wanted to make more money. So he started sending DMs, direct messages, to the people within the group and started taking their money. Well, that was against the company rules and it's not transparent. He was doing it privately. And so they fired him, but he stole people's money, So that's basically what happened. So you got to be careful, be careful who you follow, be careful what you listen to. Don't get deceived by people shilling coins. I have, and be honest, they're only going by what they're feeling, what they're hearing, the research that they did. It's not always that somebody's trying to deceive you. It's somebody, this is what happens, right? Somebody gets on there, they do all the research about one coin. Maybe it's a meme coin, maybe it's not a meme coin, and they get excited about it. So they're on their platform, like I'm here, and they're telling you all about this coin and you should buy this coin, and they're helping you buy it. And they were helping me. I was buying the coin and buying it. And when should you buy now? Because this project happened, and when this project is fulfilled, everybody, it's going to go skyrocketing. So yes, it doubled already, but it's going to double again. And that's what happened, right? So he learned about it, but then he realized as soon as it went live, or the first time they tried to go live and it didn't work, it dumped, right? The whole coin, everybody sold, cut it in half. He realized that. He sold his stuff. So by time he can tell you, by time he gets on YouTube, or by time he gets on the Zoom or Discord, or puts a message out there in the Discord, when you're doing that kind of stuff, you have to be in it every day. Because by the time I got the message, my money was already half gone. It was already half gone by the time I got the message. So it's nothing against him. It's just, you got to watch, you got to be careful of what you invest in. And you got to be on it. So if you're in with a group, you got to make sure, and you're buying coins like that, like you're investing in things that people are talking about, doing research on, that other people are doing research on, and you're counting on them to tell you what to do. You need to be able to message them, be able to be online at all times. So if they're not available like at all times, for the most part, or that group, or at least somebody in the group is not available watching, you don't have somebody watching the coins going up and down at all time, then I would say don't invest in it. Because don't invest in what this guy's doing. Listen to what he's saying, do your research, and do what he's doing. Because if you're just counting on what somebody else is coming online to tell you, you're going to miss it before he does. He might miss it, and And there's been guys that I listen to that have missed it and then, oops, I'm sorry, and hey, we're all just learning, right? We're all just in this together. So that's what happened. That's what happened. I lost half my position, because I didn't get to hear him and say, "Hey, sell now." I didn't hear him say that. It just the message just didn't get to it because I work. I have a life. I don't just sit on the computer all day long. So that's where God really threw me for a loop, and I learned how to trade, and I was still buying altcoins. But here's my biggest lesson I've learned. When God speaks, listen to him. Don't go beyond what he says. Because if you go beyond what he says, it usually turns out not good. So I went beyond what he said. I went and I bought everything but Bitcoin, be honest. I didn't buy any Bitcoin because I thought this was God leading me into cryptocurrency, which it is, which the blockchain is amazing. It's freedom. I love the blockchain. If you don't know what the blockchain is, I'll just share with you a little bit about it. So this Satoshi guy, he created the blockchain. He created Bitcoin, right? So now, and what the biggest thing is this blockchain. So first thing he said, well, this thing can be created for a currency and used to create a currency. So each individual Bitcoin has this is my simplest way to explain it. It's like each Bitcoin, each part of a Bitcoin has, because Bitcoin is divided into eighths, right? So each part of one Bitcoin has its own DNA. So each Bitcoin has its own DNA. When you sell a Bitcoin, that Bitcoin is always there. It's always online. Nobody, let me say this. When you have it, when you buy one Bitcoin, that Bitcoin is yours, right? It has its own code in it that's embedded, that's like DNA. If somebody comes and steals your Bitcoin, and takes it, they'll send it to another wallet. You can't get it back out of your wallet, right? Unless somebody goes into that wallet, that specific wallet, and finds that Bitcoin. So when you put your Bitcoin in your wallet, that's your Bitcoin. Nobody can find it. It has its own DNA. If it gets destroyed, if you send it somewhere else, it's gone. It's gone for good, right? It's not like the dollar today. Today, we have banks. Today, when you take your $1 bill, it has a serial number, right? It goes into the bank. The bank is saying, here, let me borrow your money. I'm going to hold it for you. And I promise you that I will give you the equal value back when you come back to the bank. When you have Bitcoin in your wallet, it's your Bitcoin. There's no promise. It's just yours. It's like taking cash and putting it in your wallet. It's like taking that dollar and keeping it in your wallet at home. So when you have Bitcoin in your wallet, it's in your wallet. It's yours. And wallets like that would be, you want a Tangem wallet, a Ledger wallet. And what other wallets are there's other wallets out there. I use Tangem and Ledger. I think Tangem wallet's amazing. So I would go that route for cold storage. Keeping your money on the exchange is, for Coinbase, it's pretty safe. If you're just starting out, you can put your money on Coinbase and Kraken. It's pretty safe there, and then it's like putting your money in the bank, So when you buy Bitcoin, though, on the exchange, that's your Bitcoin. They're just holding it for you. That's the other difference. So when you buy Bitcoin, and I'm talking about spot Bitcoin. So when you buy spots. So you want to buy what they call spot. So if you're going to buy that, you're actually buying the asset. You're buying Bitcoin, you're buying Ethereum, or you're buying Solana. That's called spot. When somebody talks about futures and you can do leverage, that means you're borrowing money. You're actually putting money into a contract. That's like the bank. That means you're saying, well, I'm going to buy this asset. I'm going to buy Bitcoin at this price. You're and the exchange is saying, well, I promise you that if you buy it at this price, I'm going to hold it for you and it's going to go up and down. And when you sell it, I'm going to give you back whatever it's worth at the time you sell it. You know, the problem with that is it can be very dangerous. Today, your fiat, your money, your dollar, right? You put it in a bank. Why is it so safe? Because the federal government insures it. So if a bank goes down, it collapses. You're federally insured by the U.S. government for up to $250,000. But if you have over $250,000 and the bank collapses, anything over $250,000 is not promised back to you, and you won't get it back. Like 9 times out of 10, you won't get it back. There's a lot of people in the that lost money when the big bank collapsed a year or two ago. I think Sugar Valley or something. I forget what it was, but anyway, the big bank collapsed. Well, a lot of people that had over 250,000 in, they only got back up to that 250,000. You know, so they only cover that much. The exchange, when you put your money into an exchange into the futures, and you're not buying the asset, you're buying a contract. They're only gonna you're buying it and they're going to hold it for you until you sell it. Whatever the price is when you sell it. So I recommend not going there. I recommend you put your money into Bitcoin and Ethereum and you buy the spot, you buy the actual asset on, I think Coinbase is the only one right now that has futures. I don't think Kraken does, and I don't think Pionex does. Not Pionex.us. So there's other ways. I'm not going to talk about the other ways that I've done. Use a VPN. I definitely recommend getting a VPN. It helps keeps you safe if you're traveling. But you should get a VPN if you're going to be doing cryptocurrency. You want to make sure your stuff is safe. So definitely recommend that. I use it at home. I turn it on and off sometimes because it makes things lag. But if you're in a hotel, you're in something like that, just you want a VPN, you want some security. So that's. If there's any questions, if anybody else has questions, you can definitely make a lot of money in Bitcoin. You can lose a lot of money. It's an investment. Be prepared to buy it and just hold it. You know, I'll be honest, you know, right now things are looking up. I think things are starting to look stronger and stronger and stronger. I think we're going to go up. That's my perspective. It might go down. It might go down to 75,000. If we hit 75,000, and it holds below that, then I'm gonna say, well, maybe we need to just, I don't know, we need to react, you know, and plan when that happens. You know, if it starts to hit below 80,000, if Bitcoin does, if Ethereum hits below 25,000, then I'm going to do something. But I actually wouldn't, if I had the capital right now to buy, I'm slowly buying some assets and just watching the market. And that's what I'm doing right now. So, right now I think it would be the time to buy. And it might go down, but if it does, you know, just there's a bounce. So what happens is, and this is for new people out there. I've been in this since 23. I started this platform that's been on my heart to do. It's not just to share about crypto, but it's to share the gospel with people. I love Jesus Christ. He's my Lord and Savior, and I'm just sharing with what I'm doing. My heart is to be able to give, to be a steward of the King. That's actually what my name means. My first name is Spencer, and it means steward. So, and for me, I'm the steward of his King, of my King, Jesus Christ. So I want to be steward. I want to steward my wealth well, and that's my heart. So if I could become wealthy, if he makes me wealthy out of this, I'm going to steward for his kingdom. It's all about his kingdom until he dies, until I die. I'm sorry. He has died and he's resurrected. But until I die, I'm going to steward my wealth well for his kingdom, because that's what we're all called to do. We're all called to evangelize, to share the good news of Jesus Christ coming and dying for our sins, and enable us to have a relationship with him, stay in good relationship with him. So this is just what I'm doing. So I just want to say, steward your wealth well, pray through everything, seek his wisdom, ask for wisdom, seek his grace. When you feel like there's no grace, I think God's teaching you wisdom. Yeah, that's what he shows me. When I feel like there's no grace in what I'm doing, he's teaching me wisdom, so yeah, wow, I've been on here a long time, so I'm gonna let y'all go. Chat it up if you watch this. I'm gonna, hopefully I can share everything in the chat. If you're watching this, follow Jesus. Buy Bitcoin if he tells you to buy Bitcoin, and if it's him, be sure that it's his voice and not just your own thoughts. Sometimes it's our own thoughts, right? Don't go beyond what he tells you. And the other thing that I learned through this is learn first. Learn. I wish I would have learned about all this. I wish I would have learned how to trade before I even bought my first Bitcoin. Before I even bought Ethereum. First time I bought Bitcoin. And if I would have just bought and held Bitcoin like he spoke to me about, I would be in the green right now. So I'm in the red right now. I'll be honest. I'm in the red. So I'm not doing this perfectly. I'm not perfect. This is not financial advice. That's my disclaimer. So I don't know when I'm going to go live again, but I might go live. I talk a lot. So, but yeah, feel free to hit me up on Facebook. I'm on Facebook. Just look up Freedom on Chain on Facebook. Like my page, follow my page. I'm Freedom on Chain on YouTube here live. Like my page, if you like the content, like it, don't like it, whatever you want to do. Don't dislike it. If there's a dislike button, don't dislike it. Just don't watch it. You don't want to watch me, you don't have to, because I'm all about Jesus and all about who he is and what he's doing in my life and what he wants to do for others. I just want to give out what he's given to me. So, so that's what I'm all about. And any questions, hit me up on Facebook, friend me on Facebook. I'm on X too. So hit me up on X at Freedom on Chain. Look me up on X. I have a group there. The Crypto Steward, look up the Crypto Steward. That's me. I'm the Crypto Steward. And this is Freedom on Chain signing off. God bless you guys.